I got an hour and a half. Good close up. Hey, Gypsy.
Hey.
You good?
Doing fantastic. Or fantastic, as it were.
Hey, Waldo. You got lunch.
I should make him use that one. Who says we should make him use the cheap microphone? Yeah. It sounds horrible.
There's like two more over here facing it too.
Oh, grab one of those.
We're using one of the lights in here. On that
Maybe
top
I
right
could
there.
use it break away and, but it's kind of dark too.
I just want it to be dark in here so we can see the lightning.
Yeah, just for sure.
Don't go into the light.
Good. Wait, just because I want to try something.
We had the spotlight on.
Lady. Oh, I tried. There.
There we go. All right, so welcome to the My Little Tesla demo. We're running a tad bit late, as are potentially some other things this morning. Apologies for that. What we're going to do here is, so we don't cut the actual demo too short, we usually do a Q&A afterwards. We're going to kind of drag everything out of the way so we can get it ready for the next panel, and I'll go out in the hallway if you guys have any questions to ask afterwards. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So, yes, this is the My Little Tesla demo. We will be doing songs played on a homemade musical Tesla coil that you see over there. Let's go ahead and do one. This first one is a remix of In Our Town by Shara X.
Oh.
Remix is by Shara X. right. Oh, is that pretty cool?
Yep.
Guys liking it?
Yep.
Oh, come on, that was weak. How are you guys doing? You liking that? Yeah! There we go. All right, let's do another one. Let's do a more fast-paced song. This is a Bass Fluttershy. This is Fuzog's remix of that, so it's about 170, 180 BPM.
Just one question.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the line be doing a little more for this?
Yes.
Will be. Can we do a little bit more?
Just a moment.
Can we do a bit more?
It's this or off.
This or off?
So turn them off. Turn them off. We will. We'll be okay.
Can we get can we get someone on in the middle of the floor just as kind of like a human boundary if we're going to do that?
Can we get a staff member? Yeah. The chair. So he gets closer, just so he can take the chair or stay out. He's fine.
All right. Go ahead. Okay. Now you'll be able to see it really well. All right, let's get into this.
You're in for a treat.
So, you guys may be wondering, so how does that make sound? Ready for some science? Science! Science is cool. So, this is a device, again, as I said at the beginning, called a Tesla coil. It's named after its inventor, Nikola Tesla. He invented this over a century ago, in fact. This is a modern version of that uses solid-state electronics, so it uses transistors and things like that in it to control it. Basically, what a Tesla coil does, however, is it takes it's a type of transformer. So it takes your 120 volt, in this case, from your outlet and stepped it up to about 1/4 volts at the output, which is so high that the electricity will just jump off into the air, and it'll also seek out any nearby grounded object that it can find. In this case, we're using what we would call a strike target to direct the arc to it, kind of serve as a point for it to arc to occasionally. So the way this thing produces music, because it's solid state computer controlled, what we can do is we can control it very precisely. So even though the arc is continuous looking, it's in fact not. It operates in short pulses. These pulses are very short. They're only a couple hundred millionths of a second long. And each time it sends out a pulse, the electricity travels through the air, kind of like with lightning or a static spark, and you get a snap sound. What we can do, because it's computer controlled, is we can do that snapping very quickly. So and when you do that, instead of sounding like an individual snapping sound, it starts to sound like music. So say you wanted to play an A440, you tell it to pulse and do the snaps 440 times a second, and what you hear is close enough that your ear interprets it as an A note. So that has been your little educational moment. Science. Ready to hear another song? All right. This next one is one of my personal favorites. This is I'll Fly, sung by Rainbow Dash in the episode Tanks for the Memories. So, time for a little bit more science. So like I said before, this thing can play notes by turning on and off at the appropriate frequency of whatever note you're playing. As you've probably heard, however, it's playing more than one note simultaneously. This thing can play up to 3 notes at once, plus it's got a percussion sound effect that you're probably hearing as well. So the way we do multiple notes is, like I said, when it pulses, it only is on for a few hundred millionths of a second. So and it's only pulsing a few hundred times a second. So that means out of any given length of time, it's off most of that time. So what we can do then is we can sneak in a different rate of pulsing during the time that it's not on, in other words. So you've got like an A440, and this is going to make up a number because I don't know no frequencies off the top of my head. Let's call it
A lot.
no,
More than 5.
no, okay, A of an octave above at 880. You could sneak those in during the time that the A440 is not playing. And so what you get when you do that is close enough that your ears interpret it as a chord.
Could
Yep.
I ask you to play the scale so we can actually hear what it sounds like? Just A to G?
I don't think he.
Yes. So really, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. So we have a little treat for you. We have Pegasus. How many of you guys were at the concert last night? How many of you saw a set? Awesome.
I was there.
It was pretty lit. Let's say that. So yeah, he has a keyboard here, and he's going to do a little thing on it.
It's just gonna magically work when it's turned off.
That's pretty neat. Yes, this thing basically operates as a synthesizer. So, like I said, this thing is computer controlled. It's given commands via something called MIDI, which stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. That's just a fancy way of basically saying it's sheet music for computers. Just like sheet music tells an instrument what notes to play, when to play them, how to play them, MIDI would tell electronic instruments like a synthesizer, or in this case a Tesla coil, what notes to play when and how to play them. And so you don't have to play it off a computer. I do because I don't have any musical talent. But you can play it off of a keyboard or any other instrument that sends a MIDI output in fact. So you can do some pretty neat things with the Tesla coil. Well, let's get on to our next song. This one has some really cool percussive action with that snapping sound that I told you about, that percussion effect. This one is Heart's Strongest Horses. It's always good to reconnect your controller. That usually helps to have music. All right, let's try that again. This one has backing sound as well. there's one more thing that I haven't told you about that the coil can do, and that is called note bending. So it's not just restricted to set notes in your set steps. You can kind of glide in between those with a MIDI command called note bending. And with that effect, you can achieve some really cool vibrato, some glide sounds, etc. This next song is a song by Glaze or Wooden Toaster. It's called Fruits of Her Labor. This has some really cool note bending in it. How's that? Was that pretty neat? Yeah. Okay. Well, now I have something for you guys completely different. It is not a pony song. It is a different song. We'll see if you guys recognize it. If you don't, leave.
If you don't know it, you lose your nerd card if this is the song I think it is.
Yeah, that song's a looping song, so you kind of just got to end it somewhere. So, what was it? Pokemon.
It's lightning. It's super effective.
Yes, that was the gym leader battle from Red and Blue. The originals. Good stuff. Yeah, that one is fun to play because it shows just how complex of sound you can get out of the coil. There's a lot going on in that song.
Very rapid note.
Yes. Yes, it is. All right, we got a few more for you guys. Let's see here. I actually have flighted a bumblebee. Okay, so we gotta make some choices here because we're running a little bit lower on time. Our next panel's at 12:30, correct? Okay. Yeah, no, it's, or 1:30. I'm a little tired. I know we all are. So, we've got, I've got Apples to the Core. I've got the Fighting is Magic theme for Twilight. I have Nightmare Night. I have Shake Your Tail. I have the Smile song.
Fighting is magic.
I'm hearing a lot. What?
What about the new ones you made at Runicon?
I'm derping here. Which ones did we make that were new at Runicon?
One is Sia, Rainbow by Sia.
Oh, where did I put that?
That's the one you made. I can't remember which song that was.
Yeah, we did the one by Sia in the movie.
Spectacle. I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's Spectacle. Just gonna have to pick something here. Yes, I have the Spectacle. That one's pretty short. And that one's cool. Yeah, that one we did at Runicon this past year. And I heard a lot of Smile Song and a lot of Nightmare Night. So we may just have to do both of those for you guys. That sound. All right. Short little blurb of the song. It's still kind of a bit of a work in progress. I keep going back to it and adding a little bit more and tweaking it a bit.
You know, because he's totally not a perfectionist when it comes to
Totally
these
not a
things.
perfectionist. Never. All right, so we had Smile Song is next. So if we do this, you guys have got to sing along. All right. Let's see here. One moment. Configure something really quickly. Now we should be good. going with our tradition, this is the song we always end with, so one last song for you guys. How many of you guys have heard of or listened to Monster Cat? How many have heard of Tristram or Bracken? Okay, so this song is Far Away by Tristram and Bracken. It's a pretty neat sounding dance, electronic, I'm tripping on the gender, but you know, kind of dance, nice upbeat song. And it's also got some really prominent note bending, note gliding in it, so sounds pretty neat. All right, let's go ahead. Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming, and hope you enjoyed it. And we are gonna kind of clean up a little bit and get this stuff out of the middle of the room so we can get set up for the panel in about a half hour. And as soon as that happens, I will be out in the hallway.
So we have an half hour
for
we have a half an hour free time?
Dan, go into questions now.
Okay, I'm gonna go answer questions now.
We'll clean up.
So I'll be out there.
We've done this enough times. We got it.